for three minutes.
I'm coming on a few minutes early just to make sure we don't have any technical difficulties. We've got a lot of you guys here, and I just want to make sure that everything runs smoothly. And if anybody ends up popping on live and wants to say hi to me or ask me a question or make a comment, I got a few minutes to engage in some conversation. You can also let me know if you're hopping on early. Type in the comments if you can hear me, if you can see me, if everything is smooth. Hi there. Okay, good. You can hear me. You can see me, Lindsay. Yeah, so perfect. Hi, Jill. Jill, I think I'm going to read your comment. You're going to be one of the lucky ones. Because you were one of the first responders this morning in your homework. Okay. Yeah, y'all feel free to, I'm here for a few minutes before we get started. Okay, good. Glad you, hi Beth. Moisten my lips. I'm going to be doing a lot of talking. Linz, I'm on early because I just wanted to make sure that there was no technical difficulties. Just say hi. Guys, Lindsay is on my team. You will be hearing from her if you haven't already.
She's one of our right-hand
women. I'm addicted to chapstick and lip gloss. Who else has that addiction? You know what? We could have worse addictions. I have had worse addictions, let me tell you. That's a whole other webinar. That's a whole other challenge. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Erin. Hi, Monica. Hi, Brittany. Why am I nervous? LOL. You know what? I talk and teach and coach all day, every day. And I was feeling a little nervous. There's just so many of you guys. And this is very exciting. It's very exciting. I mean, there's a term that I taught a little girl recently who was scared. Her bat mitzvah was coming up. And she's a friend of mine. She's a friend of ours. She's a friend of one of my friends' daughters and one of my son's best friends. And so she was over at my house and she was like, she came to me and she was just like, I think I'm, what'd she say? I have a phobia of speaking. And she was really nervous. And I taught her the term scared sighted, which is when you feel like you're scared, but really you're excited because there's actually the same chemicals running through your veins when you are feeling both things. So I told her it's a term called scared sighted. And you just have to coach your brain that you're really just excited. And that is how I'm feeling because I just take y'all's time so seriously. Anytime I get on a stage or on a call or even on a podcast, and I have an opportunity to affect how you think and give you hope and inspire you to do things differently in your home, which ultimately is going to help not only you and your whole family, but your child, could change your child's life. Like, I take it so seriously. So I was feeling a little scared-sighted myself just a few minutes ago. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Mandy. Okay, it's 12:01. We're going to get this party started. Thanks, Linz. She says, I look pretty in red. Just so y'all know, this is the first time I've actually been to my office in a month. And I literally, I think this is the first time maybe I blew my hair dry. Like, I didn't just wash it at night and wake up with it all crazy. And maybe the first time I've even worn makeup. So I'm feeling very fancy. I wasn't sure. I think I've been gaining the COVID-19, so I wasn't positive my jeans were going to fit, and all is well there. Michelle's also a lip gloss addict. Okay, Lindsay just said, I just have to read this because Lindsay says, well, not my Lindsay am I pronouncing your last name right? Bosel. While I was doing my homework, my neighbor called me to tell me that my son was on the roof of our garage. That's a good example of him. LOL. That's hilarious. Hi, Buck. Hi, cousin Lisa. My cousin Lisa's here from Portland. So excited. Love, love, love you. So many of you guys. Okay, awesome. My team's going to take over in reading the comments because I want to get this party started. Okay, so let me see what I've got. Okay, so this is the From Angry to Aligned challenge. And some of you just joined the challenge group like last night and this morning, and I haven't had a chance to personally welcome you, but I think you probably saw on the introduction thread that I am making a point of reading every single introduction and responding to you personally. And I am just all in this week. Like, I feel like we are at a really critical time in history in our lives as citizens of the world, and so this challenge, like, even I always go all in, but right now I just feel like this is my main focus all week long. My poor family. I told my husband that today he needed to be the primary caregiver all week. So if you're new to the challenge and you're just working your way around, welcome. For those of you who joined over the last week or two, you have been probably watching some videos and we've already been starting to have some conversation. So when we say From Angry to Aligned, I'll tell you, originally I had named the challenge From Anxious to Aligned, because strong-willed kids and everyone who is here, okay, let me just say this. Everyone who is here has at least one strong-willed child. And so you somehow heard about this or saw something on Facebook, and you identified with it because you, like me, are a part of this tribe of parents who have at least one strong-willed child. That's number one. Number two, I also happen to know, because I've been doing this long enough, that you're smart, you're an action taker, and you're not a doormat. Okay, so those are the people, like, at this point in time, I know that's who I attract into my community. People who are not action takers, or who are sort of like fondle that victim story and are like, no, this is what it is, and just want to stay in that place of like blaming and shaming and not figure this out, like just stay stuck there. Typically, those people are not attracted to me and my messaging. So if you are here, I want you to know that's an amazing sign. Okay, that's an amazing sign. And I am going to make the most of your time here. I take your time very seriously, because I believe, this is what I really believe. These strong-willed children, you know how every family has a black sheep, or it seems like it, and maybe you're the black sheep of your family. I sort of think maybe I'm the black sheep of my family. There's a black sheep in every family, and I believe that black sheep are really just people with leadership energy, and it just never was channeled in the right direction. And chances are, since childhood, they felt misunderstood and frustrated. And so something about these black sheep people was just a little different. And gotta take my glasses off. Glasses off, glasses on. And so my mission in life is to make every person who has ever felt like the black sheep, to right that wrong by looking for all the future possible black sheep in our society, and changing that story. And I think these strong-willed kids have amazing leadership energy. And what I want to help you guys do is to understand it, to get curious about what's really going on for them, so that we can communicate with them differently than it's ever been done before. And we help them not to grow up feeling like there's something wrong with them or that they are the black sheep of the family. And this is how I think we affect huge change in our own families first and the world collectively, because I think we're missing out on a lot of really amazing, sharp minds and brilliant future leaders by not understanding our kids who present with these, frankly, pain in the ass behaviors. They seem angry. They do things. I'm going to read some of y'all's comments that are so disrespectful to us. And they act out. And frankly, when they're acting out and they're acting angry, which normally, let me just tell you something. The reason why it was originally called From Anxious to Aligned is because strong-willed kids and strong-willed people act angry when underneath that anger is anxiety. And we changed it from angry to aligned because what we found is a lot of the moms in our private group and our private mastermind were like, I don't know that I would have called my kid anxious before I learned more about this from you. And so I wouldn't have identified with that. And so I said, you know what? We need to go back to where you were before you know what you know now and call it what it is these kids seem freaking angry. Okay. And so it's hard to see their behavior differently. I mean, it's really hard to see the behavior differently when somebody's acting rude and disrespectful towards you. Okay. And so, and I get that, y'all, I get that like 100%. And what I believe is that we are moms. We are the solution. We love these people enough to get curious and to dig in and to learn new tools and to work on our mindset and to get to the root of what all this angry, crazy, defiant, disrespectful behavior is all about. Okay. I believe we are the ones that are going to help these kids not become the black sheep of the family. We're going to help these kids step into all that beautiful leadership energy where they are out of the box thinkers. They are not robots. They aren't going to wait till teenagehood like the other typical developing kids and just rebel like normal teenagers. They're going to start now at 4 and 6 and 11. They're not going to wait till they're 16 or 17 or 18. So that is really my mission. My mission is to help this population of people to feel finally heard and seen and understood and celebrated and guided in a direction that is going to help them become their best selves. And this is not I couldn't help y'all. I got a little ADD. I see Samantha, I see Jessica, I see some of my moms here. So hi, welcome. So happy to see y'all. Okay, so that is my mission. Okay. So I want to talk about a few things. Number one, y'all posted a whole bunch of scenarios. My team is going to be collecting some of these scenarios. And just so y'all know, on Friday, even though this challenge, you have homework assignments Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I go live. On Friday, we're going to be just speed coaching and workshopping some of these different scenarios. I can't get to all of them, but I will get to some of them, and we will all learn as a group through these different scenarios. What you guys will find, as all the members in my private coaching program have found, is that quite often you can learn even more from someone else's scenario than you can from your own, because you can see it more objectively. Okay. And so we will all be learning together on Friday. These Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday sessions are going to be a little different than the last time I did the challenge, because I can't make life easy on me and just rinse and repeat the same exact thing. I always have to teach things just a little bit differently and in a different way. What I'm doing this week is I'm going to leave you after this session with a tool and a mindset tip. practical tools and tips. You will have a little party favor that you're going to leave this session with. It's going to be in the form of a meme that that my team will post in the chat box, and you can save the image, save it to your phone, do what my daughter does when she wants something to be on her radar, and save it to your home screen or your lock screen, because most of us are never far from these little crack devices. And that meme is going to have a tool on it, and it is going to be something that you're going to have on your radar, and you're going to practice and practice and practice. I want to give you tips and tools to immediately put to use. Okay. So I'm going to teach you a tip and a tool each day. And so I want y'all to, as I start teaching, really like take copious notes. Write down anything that you're going to want to go back to. Listen to this recording again and make sure and save the meme tool to your phone. We're going to give a gift. We're giving gifts away and prizes. So every day we will announce at the end of this recording the winner of the day. You're going to get a personalized book from me to you that I will sign and write something about you in. And we're going to mail that out to your house. So my team will be in touch to get your address on that. And the other thing that you're going to get is to be redeemed between this Saturday, April 18th and April 25th. You're going to get one-on-one coaching with me, 4 hours. And we'll explain the specifics if you're the winner on how we do that. But it's for anybody who has worked with me and is in my current mastermind and has won the half-day VIP coaching with me. Y'all can even comment here to tell people how awesome it is. Not to toot my own horn, but it's a great value. So every day somebody's going to win that. And at the end of the challenge, at the end of 3 days, on Friday, at the end of our speed coaching date together, we are going to announce the grand prize winner. And that is going to be $1,000 value. So we're not messing around here. Right? Like gift giving is my love language for anybody who knows the love languages. So we're not messing around. Y'all are winning big things when you show up and you take action. To win the grand prize, we want you to we believe this is a movement. We want you to share the love. So share on social that you've taken part in this challenge, hashtag us, and share the link. So because people can hop into this challenge group and catch up even if they're not here yet. So go ahead and share that link. So that will be a requirement. Okay, let's dig in. I want to read a few scenarios. Glasses back on. Carolyn said, my son spit at me. He's never done this before. Okay. How did she feel? She felt angry and hurt. He did. And what did she make it mean? He did it to make me angry and hurt. Right? He did it to make me angry and hurt. So spitting is if you think about spitting, you guys, when you spit, like if you could imagine feeling so angry inside that you actually had to spit at someone, it's like I think of being held hostage, like by like during a time of war by the enemy, and I have nothing else to do, and I just like spit at someone. Like it feels so out of control that you're literally fighting for your life. Spitting is, I mean, honestly, like such a triggering behavior, because to be spit at feels like the most disrespectful behavior I can imagine. And so I understand when you have a child that spits at you, feeling like you are so angry and hurt, you don't even know what to do. And it's really hard not to take that behavior personally. Like I could tell you all day long, don't take that behavior personally because your child's so out of control. And the truth is, your child is that out of control on the inside of their body that they feel like they have no other recourse. And they spit. They don't have the words. They don't know how to get this problem solved. They have all of these feelings inside their body. They don't know what else to do. They feel out of control. And so it's a very problematic scenario. Now, what I want to tell you is when you have a child that is at a place where they resort to spitting, like this situation is emergent, because your child is basically saying, I have nothing else I can do to feel better right now. And I need you to know how out of control I feel in my body. Okay. Just let's understand that. Let's understand that. And I also understand why it makes you feel angry and hurt. Why it makes you feel angry and hurt. If you think about, like, when else have you felt so disrespected in your life that it was like somebody had no regard for your well-being? Like, it takes our brain back to any time we basically feel like somebody spat on us, somebody like shit all over us. And we've all had those moments in our lives. It may be, and this is the interesting thing about the brain and why I'm so obsessed with neuroscience. It may be that your fourth grade teacher was some out of control adult, and she was in this authoritarian role in your life, and there was so much like injustice that happened your fourth grade year, and you felt powerless, and you felt like she was constantly like shaming you and punishing you and doing things that were beyond your control. And it takes your brain back there to all those times in your life where you have those old hurts. And now it's so confusing because this is our little child, but yet our brain goes back to all those old hurts. And then we end up finding ourselves in that gap, and we act out and we do all the things. And that is us operating from that place of old hurt. Okay. When we felt powerless, when we felt disrespected. And so now we have a child who's showing up from a place of feeling so out of control, they don't know what else to do, and they don't have the skills to help themselves feel better. And instead of being able to actually help them, we accidentally add to their out of control feeling, because we take it personally and we start fighting with them. And instead of responding in a calm way where we help them to get back in control so that we can help them build the skills that they need to build to have better behavior in the future and not feel like they are powerless and have nothing else to do but spit to let us know how out of control they feel. Instead of working towards that solution, we accidentally exacerbate the problem. And they don't feel supported, and they don't learn the skills that they need to improve their future behavior. Does that make sense to you guys? So it's like a no-win situation. And at some point, it's like we have to say to ourselves, hey, I'm the grown-up with the fully developed brain. I have to take matters into my own hands and help this kid. If I keep operating from this place of old hurt, nothing's going to shift and change. Nothing's going to shift and change. So what is really, and I wanted to read Jill's thing. Before I go into where do we start? Okay. Where we start really is we learn how to use practical empathy. And I'm going to teach you a great tool for how to do that. And that's going to be your little takeaway parting gift from today's session. But before I get there, before us to be able to show up with practical empathy, we have to get our mindset in the right place. Okay. We have to get our mindset. Let me read one more scenario. Jill said, my daughter rolled her eyes and stuck out her tongue while I was talking. So how many times have we had somebody who we were saying something that we felt like was important? We wanted our voice to be heard. We needed to say something. And how many times in our lives have we had someone dismiss us, ignore us, make us feel unseen and unheard and not respected, like our voice doesn't matter? So when you have a little child, you have something to say as a mom, you have something to impart. And you have this child, you know, who's doing this business, you know, it's like, that's, I mean, super triggering. Your brain goes back to all those times where you felt like somebody did that to you. Pretty crazy. And so now it's pretty hard to like keep your cool and to help that child who's feeling so out of control that they have to let you know that they're sassing you and they feel like they, you know, like they're not feeling heard and seen. So they need you to feel like you're not heard and seen, right? But you got to keep your cool and help that child build the skills that they don't have. Super hard to do. I'm going to help you. So Jill said she felt frustrated, angry, and ineffective. I get it. And what did she make it mean? She did it because she didn't like what she was hearing and she wanted the focus off the task I was asking her to do. She wanted the focus off the task I was asking her to do. Now, you know, what was the task you were asking her to do? Maybe she didn't want to do it. Maybe she didn't know how to do it. Maybe she didn't, you know, a lot of times these kids have a hard time shifting gears. Maybe she just didn't want to do it right now at this minute. You know, there's a lot to these different scenarios. And what I say all the time is calm people solve problems. How can we understand or help her if all of a sudden our brain is back in that place of all those old hurts, right? All those old hurts. So empathy. I'm going to read to you one of my favorite quotes by Daniel Pink. Empathy is standing in someone else's shoes, feeling with his or her heart, seeing with his or her eyes. I say empathy is basically sending someone else the message of me too. I felt like that too. I get it. I really get it. Okay. What we know about empathy is that when someone shows up with empathy, it is like the straight path to connection between two people. It builds trust. And all of a sudden, when you feel like somebody truly gets it and is on your side and on your team, and they understand you and you're connected to them, you trust them. And when they offer you guidance, now you're willing to listen. So if we want our kids to learn the skills that they need to help them improve future behavior, we have to show up with empathy. We have to show up with empathy. Showing up in any other way than empathy, basically, is you're just wasting your breath. You're just wasting your breath. You're just stuck in your old story. You're not able to step in and be that calm, you know, adult who solves problems. And now it's just your emotional child speaking, the words of your emotional child coming out of your mouth. Your child is a child, an emotional child. They keep it. And it's like, it's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Nothing ever gets solved. Nothing ever gets solved. So we have to show up in empathy when they show us that their behaviors are, you know, where they're feeling their behaviors are, you know, terrible because they're basically acting on the outside the way they feel on the inside. So if we stand on ceremony and we start talking about respect in the heat of the moment when they're acting disrespectful and we start lecturing them and we start teaching them all the things, it's the opposite of empathy. We become the enemy. And now they really want to do everything the opposite of what we're telling them to do because we're not connected. They don't trust us. So it's like, you know, you can be right and stand on ceremony. Of course, no child should ever spit at their parent. Of course, no child should ever stick their tongue out and act rude and disrespectful. Of course not. And we want these behaviors to stop showing up in the future. So we've got to take control of the situation. Now, the only place we truly have control is our own thinking. That's the only place we have control. Because when you control what you're thinking about the situation, you actually are able to change the way you feel about the situation, and then you act in a different way, and you show up in a different way, and you get a different result. That's the bottom line. Your thinking is the only thing you truly have control over. So the mindset tip of the day I call the Q-tip. Quit taking it personally. It's not. It's not personal. It feels very personal when you got a kid spitting on you and you got a kid sticking their tongue out and doing all that. It feels very personal. However, kids do come to us designed. Humans are born and designed to be members of a pack, to get along, to live together, to work together, to be useful to the pack. So we are designed in that way, contrary to the old parent wisdom that kids are going to do bad things until you lay down the hammer and show them and you induce pain on them and force them to do the right thing. It's not true. That's not true. And many people are like, well, I don't know. My parents, they never would have put up with this stuff. And I was a heck of a lot better behaved than my kids are. And what I want to tell you is that maybe you were better behaved in that moment with your parents. Were you connected to them? Did you want to learn from them? When you became a teenager, did you turn to them for guidance when you made some stupid, risky teenage decision, impulsive decision? Were they your people? Were you a connected family? Do you want to call them all the time and feel close and connected to them? Do you feel judged by them? Do you feel like you can be your whole self with them? Do you have any over behaviors, any addictive behaviors, which really come from a lack of connection that you're constantly filling in from early childhood? Like all these things are connected. So we're fooling ourselves and we're like, well, I never would have behaved that way. Maybe you wouldn't have behaved that way because you knew you were going to get in big trouble from it. But chances are you didn't feel connected to your parents, and chances are it just made you sneaky for when you wanted to act out and do all the things that you knew they didn't stand for, right? You were always looking for an outlet. That's just the way things work. And I, for one, and I think many of you feel this way too, I don't want that kind of relationship with my kids. I want to feel like a cohesive family. I want to feel like a team. I want to feel like we can count on each other for everything. I want to feel like we can talk about everything. I want my kids to do what Lindsay's kids did, her 5th grade son did recently for her. Got curious about sex and started asking his mom questions. He didn't turn to all his peers. He didn't turn to sneaking around on the internet looking for illicit videos and things. He turned to his mom, who he knows is not going to judge him, who he can talk about anything with. And he asked her what some of these things meant. And they've had conversations about it. And Lindsay, what did Lindsay's husband say? He's like, I cannot imagine talking to my mom about these things. Like, it is unbelievable. And I'm like, this is it. This is it. So these kids that are showing up with all these behaviors that, look, I know are testing you like nobody's business, bringing up every dark skeleton of your brain and every old hurt that you've ever had. That's what these kids do for us. They bring it all right here. Okay. And so I believe these kids actually are our gateway to self-compassion, self-help, personal development, because all of a sudden all our old hurts that we have just swept under the rug and dealt with all these years, now all of a sudden they're bringing them all up to the surface and we're forced to do it. So when you quit taking it personally and you realize kids do well if they can, as Dr. Ross Green likes to say, I love him, and they're not doing well, they're acting on the outside the way they feel on the inside, it's because there's something to figure out. It's because they have a lagging skill. It's because they need the adults in their lives to come forth and help them. And in order for us to do that, we have to be connected and we have to earn their trust. Okay. So the mindset tip is quit taking it personally, because it is not about you. Kids do well if they can. If they're not doing well, they're trying to say, I need your help. I don't know what else to do. I feel backed into a corner. I don't know the words to say. I don't know how to get all of these big emotions and big feelings under control in my body. I feel totally dysregulated. And I need your help, Mom. If they knew how to say that, they would say it. But instead, what do they do when they feel all dysregulated and backed into a corner and out of control in their body? They start to try to control everything on the outside of their body. They act like dictators. They have outlandish behaviors. And they're basically saying, this is a cry for help. I need your help. So you Q-tip, you quit taking it personally, you walk away, you take a minute, you do your, for those of you who do yoga, you do your Ujjayi breath. For those of you who don't do yoga, look up the box breath, learn how to properly breathe. It literally will change the chemicals racing through your body. It's like injecting yourself with a drug that's like, oh, really? I mean, I always say, if I had known for years that I could, make myself feel calmer by taking a deep inhale and a deep exhale, and it didn't have to involve carcinogens and nicotine, wow, that would have been a heck of a lot easier for me to quit smoking, right? Like, I didn't realize that. I didn't know that I had access to this amazing thing called the breath. So you walk away, you quit taking it personally, you remind yourself, you have something, you coach yourself, you pull on your brain to be fully developed, and you calm yourself down, and you say, you say, this is not about me, this is not about me, Q-tip, 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 and you go and you get yourself to a calmer state. And then you show up. This is the tool of the day. This is what you're going to get. You state the obvious. Okay. This is empathy. This is practical empathy. This is one of my favorite tools. It's going to seem like, and a lot of the things I teach y'all, it's like a brick to the head moment. Like, really? And so I called it state the obvious. You literally state the obvious. So you got a kid like Carolyn who just spat on you. Okay. That's pretty intense. And she, like, what would that look like? So she would be like, oh my God, I cannot believe this just happened. She needs to walk away. She needs to walk away in that moment. She needs to go get herself together. And let's say he comes chasing after her and he's like, he's chasing after her, and she just ignores him and goes within and is, Q-tip, 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 and goes and washes your hands and takes your deep breaths and cleans the spit off and gets it off. And then he keeps on coming back and coming back and coming back. And finally, when you're ready, when you've given yourself the time and space to get yourself back to a place of, I've got this, you're going to state the obvious. And you're going to say, something big is going on. You were so upset. You wanted me to know. Okay? Isn't that obvious? He was so upset and he wanted her to know, so he spit on her. So she's not even it doesn't mean we're not going to address this spitting behavior. We are, but we're going to do it later when everybody's calm and he can actually hear you. Because when he's at a place of being so out of control and that he's spitting on you, he's not there. So she's going to go and she's going to say, he's then going to, maybe he's going to start yelling at you. And you're going to say, I can tell you want me to know how upset you are. I get it. And it's important to me to know. I can't hear you. So match my voice. So then I would go into other tools. But the way you start to help him move from that lower center of his brain where he is in a state of fight or flight and like literally fighting for his life to the point that he felt so out of control he had to spit on you. You're helping him to move up in his brain. So if he starts to whine, I know whining drives us nutso bonkers. But if you have a kid that's explosive and then they start to whine, just know they're moving up in their brain. So if he starts to whine, then you're like, okay, we're almost there. This is important. Tell me what was going on. I can tell something big was going on. We're just stating the obvious. Now, if you have a kid that is like let's say Jill's situation with her daughter who stuck her tongue out and rolled her eyes and stuck her tongue out. And Jill stops and states the obvious. Stating the obvious in this situation, because there's, would be, okay, you're rolling your eyes and sticking your tongue out at me, so I can tell you must be annoyed. You must be annoyed, and I'm saying something that's annoying you. Okay? It's pretty obvious. She's annoyed. It's pretty obvious something's going on. And so you just state the obvious. Now, stating the obvious is so impactful and the opposite of what we're inclined to do, which we're inclined to be like, you will not roll your eyes at me. Stop sticking your tongue out at me, little lady. Blah, blah, blah. He spits on you. Absolutely not. You will not spit at me. Who spits on you? We want to go into that place. But when we just stop ourselves and Q-tip and state the obvious, and we help our child to start moving up in their brain, well, guess what happens to them? They start to feel seen and understood and like we get it. And now they're not in that out of control place. They're starting to be in a place where we can actually start to communicate and they can hear us. Because if we want to impart any wisdom and help our kids learn new skills and communicate in a better way and behave in a healthier way, the only way we can do it is if they're in their thinking brain and we're in our thinking brain. And somebody's got to be the person that leads this effort in getting into the thinking brain. And guess what? It falls on us because we're the grown-ups. We're the ones with the fully developed brains. So where we're starting in terms of helping these kids right now, and I know y'all are probably like, but what are the consequences? Everyone wants to know what the consequences are. You got to connect before you correct. You got to connect before you correct. Q-tipping, so you're in the right headspace and the right mindset to remember kids act on the outside the way they feel on the inside. Quit taking it personally. Quit taking it personally. And then stating the obvious is a straight pathway to begin rebuilding that connection and that trust so that we can connect. Because when the correction piece comes, when the consequence piece comes, which a lot of times, the point of a consequence is to show kids that, like, when you do this, then this happens. And it's really about teaching them, helping them effectively learn that when they have a certain action, there's a specific connected attached result. Okay, so if we jump to the consequences too soon, it's just a punishment, and kids 12 and under don't improve future behavior based on punishment and fear tactics. They don't. There's science behind that. So if we want to be effective, if we want to be connected, if we want to build these families, maybe the family that you wish you had your whole life, we've got to connect first. So this tip and this tool is where I want you to start, guys. Okay, is where I want you to start. So Patricia says, I'm just looking at the first thing. What happens when they don't accept the empathy? It means you're not doing it right. It means you're not doing it right. It means that don't ask them how they feel. Don't try and be a pseudo therapist at home. Okay, they didn't pay and then come into your office paying for empathy, and they don't want you to ask them how they feel. They're also in the lower centers of their brain. They don't even know. They can't express it. They don't have access to expressive language in that moment. So stating the obvious is where we really are able to empathize. Stating the obvious and empathizing might be your face is red, your fists are clenched, your voice is loud. Something must have happened. That is empathy. That's the kind of empathy I want you to do. Okay? State the obvious and start there. Tomorrow we're gonna keep moving on empathy, and I'm gonna teach you, once you see that your child's out of that explosive place and moving up in their brain, I'm gonna teach you how to continue with the next step of empathy. It's gonna help you to continue the conversation and to start working towards a solution so that we can actually improve future behavior. But we have to start here. You just want to state the obvious. That's it. And it's not what's going to come natural for any of us, y'all. This is the beautiful thing about empathy. And now I've read like lots of studies about it. This is a learned skill, and you can practice and master it and become more and more and more empathetic. And since kids learn by what we model way more than by what we say, when you model empathy in this way and show up for your kid in this way, you actually are teaching them empathy by just doing it yourself. So, yeah, Michelle also said, what if they won't accept it? What if they won't accept it? Just state the obvious. If you're like something, your fists are clenched, your voice is loud, you seem really upset, something must have happened. They may go, I'm not upset. Go, oh, okay. All right. So, okay, well, what's going on? The point is that we want them to know, I got you. I got your back. Like, they're out of control. And when someone's out of control, like, what do we want? We want somebody who's like, I'm here for you. I'm here. I got you. You are not alone. Like, so when we show up in this way, we help our children to feel like it's not a state of fight or flight. There's no tiger in the jungle, right? Nobody's about to eat them. And we help them to actually feel more regulated and get to a calmer state, because that's what these kids who are showing up so angry, these strong little kids are showing up so angry. They got a lot of swirling emotion, a lot of anxiety going on in their body. They don't know how to help their bodies feel more regulated. So when they explode in all these ways, it's actually it alters them biochemically. They get a little bit of an adrenaline rush. It's the same reason that when we're feeling all triggered and crazy, we yell, even when we had every intention not to, because we get a little bit of an adrenaline rush, and it actually helps to take you out of that state of fight or flight temporarily. So there's a biological reason why we all go into this place. So we're learning a new skill set. We're learning healthier ways to calm our bodies down when our central nervous system is feeling dysregulated. And we got to do it for ourselves to model it for our kids. Okay. Lindsay says, I love this question. Randy will too. Connection takes time and place. I don't know what question means. What did you just say? I'm sorry. The only time my phone dings is if it's my immediate family, and they are, I just saw they're texting. It must be emergent. There's something about a cheese selection going on. They're already talking about dinner tonight. Lens, I don't see where you said. Beth, you're a rock star. Okay, guys, as y'all could tell, I could talk about this stuff all day long. Jamie says, state the obvious. I see you're really mad and need some more time, then just wait. No, that's a great question, Jamie. If your child absolutely refuses to say, yeah, or engage with you, you may say, I'm here to help when you're ready. We can handle this. If they keep blasting you, you walk away. You leave them with the message that you're available when they're ready to tell you what's going on in a way you can hear them, right? which is match my voice. I can't understand you. This is super important, but your voice is still too loud and it's hurting my ears. Tell me, this is important. I can tell you're super upset. And if they keep going, go, okay, you know what? I can't understand you. So I'll be over here. And when you can say it where I can hear you, I'm here. I'm here for you. You come get me. You disengage and you walk away. Because some people, especially strong-willed ones, are super explosive, and when they're what we call flyer temperaments, and when they have had, maybe years of a pattern of explosiveness, they may not know, they may follow you and keep yelling and keep yelling and keep yelling and keep yelling, because that's the pattern of how they've gotten that adrenaline rush, because then you fight back and then it's game on. And so they like pull you into their vibration, basically. And so they do that. It's actually a coping mechanism. So one of the ways we're going to disrupt this pattern is we're going to state the obvious. But if you have a child that's following you or badgering you or whatever it is, you're going to absolutely control you and refuse to engage in that verbal warfare. And you're going to be like, I can tell you're super upset and I can't understand you. I'll be here when you're ready to talk about it. This is important. I want to help, but I can't hear you. Let me know. And if they keep yelling at you, go, still can't hear you. You got this. Go get yourself together and come tell me when I can hear you, when you can say it in a way I can hear you. And you just keep disengaging, keep disengaging, keep disengaging. And that's basically saying, like, you're super upset and you can handle this, and let me know how I can help you. Right? So yeah, we're disrupting patterns. We're disrupting explosive patterns. Kids that are behaving in explosive ways are letting you know they feel that out of control. So when we Q-tip and keep ourselves in control, and we stay in control of the only thing we actually have control of, what we're thinking, which is, this is not about me, this is not about me, this is not about me. And we disrupt that pattern of refusing to engage and go power struggle. That is us starting to build some of those skills and helping them to feel more regulated. So this is where we start. I know y'all want it. Y'all want it all right now. And trust me, I would give it to you all right now. But as I've learned over the last however many years, this is a process. Let's start here. Q-tip, state the obvious. Okay, Linz, if you haven't posted yet on the comment section, post the meme so everybody can see it. And then just know you guys can save that image and download it to your phone. Okay, sorry, I told someone, I was like, I'll stay for 30 minutes, but chances are I go over if everybody's super engaged. Couldn't help it. Okay, give me some hearts if you guys found this to be helpful. Give me some angry faces if you guys found this to be not helpful. Either way, feedback is good. And that's what we got. I'm going to end our live session for today. Okay, bye guys.